stuff for your make a task. So I showed you kind of the basics of everything over here in the left-hand tool column. We got the elements, the text, and the uploads. I'm going to go back to elements, and I'm going to do the superhero thing. So on your make a task, remember you're creating a video that's essentially a commercial. You're promoting your whatever it is that your propaganda poster is about, if it's buying war bonds or conserving food or anything like that, right? So I'm going to go through it. I'm just going to do one on, let's say, promoting superheroes, like become a superhero, save your city or something like that. Something that would be kind of propaganda-ish. So remember, under the elements option here, we've got graphics, we've got photos, we've got videos, we've got shapes. You can search for them. Obviously, if it comes up no shapes under superhero, you just sort of click that off. And then shapes is like right here, and it's got all sorts of stuff. So if you're looking for shapes, you could look for circles, blah, 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 whatever. So anyway, so in terms of like designing your video, we want it to include lots of movement, and we want it to be kind of quick. And I need to delete that. So I've got my little Batgirl here. You notice on my model presentation, I did leave my background blank. Again, that's a design choice for you. So I might search like city, background, a graphic, right? Because remember, on your presentation, you're going to kind of make a decision if you're going to use graphics or use real images. So I kind of like the cityscape. I'm actually going to create a new page, and I think I want to use this cityscape. So let's do that. Let's do like a cityscape here as kind of my image / background, although I'm not going to really use it as a background. But let's do a couple of animations. That's one of the big things I want to see in your videos. So I want you to blend together some transitions and animations as well as some text. But again, don't overdo it. That's really the challenge. How do we create movement and how do we create excitement in animation, but not overkill it and make it look good? So I'm going to click on text, and I'm going to click add a subheading. Again, it doesn't really matter which text you pick because you can make it whatever size you want. So I'm going to go something like double tap. I'm going to go something like protect your, then I'm going to duplicate that so it's the same font and same size. Protect your city. So I need to select a font. This will be a good practice here. So I want a font that's kind of strong, kind of bold, right? So over here, I click on my text box and I click on up here what kind of font I want. And there's different like text styles, but mostly we're going to search under fonts. So you can actually search for different types of fonts. I tried to use like some keywords. You can also scroll through here. It'll give you different types of fonts like rounded, modern, bold, retro. I think I used retro for my World War I because I wanted it to look old. Vintage would be maybe a good one. But if I'm doing superheroes, I might want something bold and something strong, something that looks tough because I want to show my audience like a strong font that I think represents strength. I don't know, just for fun, let's try that one. That's not too bad. And my graphic is black and white, so I could stick with like a black and white theme on this slide, or I could maybe add some color. So I'm going to make protect your a little bit bigger, and I want to make sure I center that a little bit. If I click on that, I also want to make my city the same font. So if I click down here, click here, it tells me it's Bernoru. So I might actually just delete this one and then duplicate it. Now that I've picked my font, I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm going to type in city. And then I want to actually make city much bigger. So I'm going to increase the font size, let's say to 120. That's not big enough. Let's go 144. Make my box a little bit bigger. And center that up a little bit. Now I think I don't know if I love it. 144, let's go bigger, let's go 200. So you can type in the size of your font that you want in there. That's a little bit bigger. Protect your city. So I want to make my font a little bit more interesting. I think too much black and white on this is going to be kind of bad. So I'm going to add a color. So I use that Batman. This is really cool. So they show you, like, hey, you're using this little Batgirl thing, this Batman character. Here are some colors that would go with it. So I'm going to go with this yellow color that's kind of bright and bold, right? I might make it just a little bit bigger, take it close to the edge. And then I'm going to make city actually the same color. So I'll go back, and now these recently used colors are up here. And I want to add an effect. So I'm going to click effect, and I'm going to outline city. And it's going to give me this default like brown color. So I'm going to click off of that, and I'm just going to outline it in black. And then I want to increase the thickness of it. So I'm going to click back here, click effect. I'm going to increase the thickness around the word city. And I think I might want to actually make it a little bit bigger too. So let's make it a little bit bigger. And then maybe protect your also needs an outline. So let's outline that. Again, change the color to black. Make that outline just a little bit thicker because it's smaller. We don't want it as thick. Okay, so now I got protect your city. And I want to keep playing around with the placement of it until I sort of figure out what looks good. But that I can always change. I want to talk about animations. So if I click on protect yours, I can animate that. This is how it will appear on your slide. And again, we want to have movement on our video. So we want things to be moving, but we also want it to make sense as it moves. So I scroll over these until I think I find one that I like. Ooh, that's kind of fun. That looks kind of superhero-ish. So let's go with block. That's kind of fun. And then it says both on enter or on exit. So I wanted to animate on enter only, which is where it's going to default. And I want it to go that way. If I click this way or this way, I think I want to go into the side. All right, so I've got protect your, and then I want to animate city, but I don't necessarily want it to do the same animation. So I think I like, I don't know. I like breathe, but I don't know if I like it with the first animation. So this is something that you're going to probably spend some time on until you can figure out what looks good, right? And you can always slow down the speed on some of them, and that's a good way to try to match up your animations. So I think I like how that looks. I'm going to press play. Okay, I think maybe I need to slow down my protect your a little bit. So I'm going to go back to effect. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to block. And okay, so block does not have a speed option. So I might play around with that a little bit. Okay, but that's a way to, again, think about the speed and the movement of your video and just kind of have to try it over and over and over again. Now, 5 seconds is really too long. I think maybe right about there would be good. And I can, again, click the dots, and I can split the page like that, and then delete the part I don't need, which ends up being 4.3 seconds. I'm going to try it again. Yeah, I think I want it to go even shorter. Maybe play it another second or two. And then I'm going to split that page again and get rid of those 0.8 seconds. Now I'm down to 3.4. Protect your city. Boom, I think. Again, if you have something after it, it's going to be a little bit easier to figure out. But those are some more things about graphics and text and movements and animations and things like that. So hopefully that'll help you out too.